Hi there, it's Nicole here today, and I have a birthday dragon that's blowing out candles card to share with you. This card showcases several different manufacturers' stamps and dies combined to create one card. This is one of my favorite ways to create is mixing and matching what you might have already in your stash and make it work. I knew I wanted to use this awesome dragon from the My Favorite Things Magical Dragons stamp set. And I knew I wanted him to be blowing out some candles. So I searched the stamp sets that I had and ended up using this Mama Elephant Carnival Toppers stamp set and stamping multiple candles from that to work with my dragon. I stamped my images on some Bristol Smooth cardstock. This is my preferred cardstock to use with the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. I stamped the images with the Simon Says stamp Intense Black ink. This is a great ink if you want a Copic color, watercolor. In this case, I'm using the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, which are much more like watercolors. They are a water-based marker. I like to start with my darkest color, which I laid down there first. I used my mid-tone color, and then I'm simply blending with my lightest color here. All the colors of the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers I'm using are shown across the top of the screen. This dragon definitely shows how easy those colors blend because it's a larger surface area on this Bristol Smooth cardstock. So pretty. You get that watercolor look without the use of water, really. You could definitely use water if you wanted to, but I just love how easily they blend here. Added a little pink to his cheek, green for the tummy, and then I'm doing some green spikes here. Some grays for the horns. I'll do his toenails in the dark gray as well. And then for the wings, I'm going to take my lightest color, the green shadow, and just lay down a little bit of it. Because these are water-based, you can take the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen and spread out that color. It's going to definitely lighten it up, plus give them a little bit of glitter. I'm laying down a little bit of yellow for the candles as well, tiny bit of orange too. I kind of forgot I wanted to do the orange first and then blend it out, so I went back with the yellow. I'm not coloring it in all the way because again, I'm going to take the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen and blend that color out. I'm going to color in my candles as well. I decided to do them stripy since they are stripy. I thought that would be kind of fun. Doing several different color combinations. Those are shown across the top of the screen in case you are wondering exactly which markers I used. And I did some of the rest of the candles. I kind of did 2 of each color combination. Not sure exactly how many I wanted to use on the finished card. So I went ahead and colored 8 of them. And then I am fussy cutting. There are coordinating dies for all of these images, both the My Favorite Things Dragon and the Mama Elephant Carnival Toppers, but I decided to go ahead and fussy cut these. I'm using a black brush tip marker to just go around the edges of my fussy cut elements. That is going to ensure that you don't see any of that white. It just gives it a lot more finished look. It's one of my favorite things to do when fussy cutting, but you want to go slow. You don't want to accidentally get any of that on the colored area. I'm putting some glossy accents on the horns, and then I'm going to set my dragon aside while I work on the background. I've got the Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle frame here, and I'm going to die cut that a couple of times from smooth white cardstock. And I'm going to die cut that from some black cardstock to use as the top frame. So I'm going to be using the inside panels from the white cardstock and then the frame itself for the top of that. Plus I'm going to die cut the same panel from vellum because I need that inside piece to be exactly that size so that I can die cut some clouds so it can look like my dragon is flying high in the sky up in the clouds blowing out some birthday candles. I'll be using the Lawn Fawn Puffy Cloud borders to die cut a couple of borders here to place along the center panel of my card. I'm going to die cut my first one here. Then I will also die cut one from some of the white cardstock as well. Go ahead and grab that. I am using 2 different puffy cloud border dies. There's 3 that come in the set, and I'm using 2 of them. Probably the 2 larger or the large size and the medium size. I kind of call them large, medium, and small. Great stitching detail. On my solid rectangle, I'm going to apply Twisted Citron and Squeezed Lemonade Distress inks. Because I'm applying this to smooth white cardstock, I'm going to have to work just a tiny bit harder with a little bit lighter hand to start out with to blend these colors together. Watercolor cardstock tends to blend a lot easier, so this is going to take a little bit more work, not a lot. I love these 2 colors and they do blend really nicely. I went for a little bit non-traditional colors for the sky, something that I thought would coordinate really well with the colors I chose for the dragon. I'm going to just keep going over this. As you start to apply color and the more color you add, I feel like it's a little easier to blend. That's just my personal feeling. A little bit more work, but worth it. So here are my 2 borders. The vellum's going to go in the background. I felt like I was covering up a little too much of the green, so I did go back and apply a little bit more because I want some of that green sticking out over the top of my vellum cloud, not to be all the way behind it. And I'm laying out my elements, making sure I like how it's all going to look. I do this a lot. I'd only fussy cut 4 of the candles so far at this point. And you can also see that I decided it would look cute if the dragon looked like he was blowing out the candles. So I ended up cutting off the flame part on most of the candles, and I'm just going to leave the flames on 2 of them. So it looks like he's flying through the clouds, blowing out those candles. I want to go ahead and do that little puff of smoke here. I'll stamp that on the smooth or the Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I'm laying down a little of the Haze Blue marker just around the edges and blending it out with the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen again. Just a tiny touch of blue to that smoke and then some nice glitter. I will go ahead and fussy cut that, go around the edges with my black brush marker and darken the edges just like I did for the candles and the dragon. I'm going to use my Misty to stamp my greeting from the My Favorite Things Magical Dragons stamp set, so I can stamp it a couple times and get a nice bold greeting. Then I'm simply ready to put everything together. So I'm going to start with my vellum border, then my white cardstock border with the stamped greeting. I will adhere my dragon flying there in the clouds. And I started with him a little lower than what I ended up finishing with. I did have to raise him and the little puff of smoke just a little bit. I felt like I left a little too much space at the top and it fit together better with him a little bit higher. So luckily I didn't press too hard and I was able to lift that up and move him. Some of the candles are going to be tucked behind that cloud border. Some are going to be on top, just depending. I think it looks a little bit more cohesive this way, so it looks like they're kind of just all sitting there floating in the clouds. Go ahead and have a couple of candles behind my dragon as well. I needed to cut out 1 additional candle. Go around all of the edges with my black marker. Using glue dots to attach the candles because they're pretty small. There I moved my dragon up a little bit and I think that looks better spacing wise. Laying down some dots of the Ranger Multi-Matte Medium. And then I'm attaching Pretty Pink Posh Iridescent Star Confetti. I love this confetti, especially on lighter backgrounds like this. I think it just is awesome. So pretty. So I added bunches of little dots of glue. I'm using the quick stick tool to pick them up and place them all over the background. I did end up adding even more than this because I like lots of sparkle. Then I'm going to put some adhesive on the front of a top or a side fold card base rather. I find it's easier to put the adhesive on the card and then start placing all of the elements there. I'm going to run some glue around all 4 sides 4 sides where I added my frame, and I'm going to stack my frames one on top of another. I originally thought I would use a gray frame, but I just didn't really like it, so I did end up going ahead and cutting one from black cardstock and putting it on top of this gray one to finish off the card. Thanks for joining me today for this Magical Dragons Blowing Out Candles card. The supplies I've used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.